In this 5th video in our 6-part series, we're exploring worship together. It's exciting to worship together with all of our diverse gifts because it gives us an opportunity to discover the deeper mysteries of our faith together. God calls us to praise Him with every fiber of our being, and He's flexible enough to receive that praise in any format or ability that we're able to give it to Him in. Jesus said, "Don't hinder my kids from coming to me." And He meant don't hinder anyone. He is concerned about all of those who might be minimized or overlooked and wants all people to have complete freedom to worship Him. We want to do everything we can to support that. In this series, we're discovering that God is profoundly creative in how His kids worship Him.
Worship can be challenging for us with Carly because she will occasionally make noises, get restless. As a dad, I'm constantly I'm worried about what other people are experiencing as well. So I'm worried about, is she making too much noise? Is she kicking the seat in front of her? Whatever the case may be, I tend to get into kind of guarded mode, and so that it challenges us to have a full worship experience because to some extent we're so focused on how she's doing and whether she might be impacting others.
I love being in worship with Carly. I love watching Carly worship. If you've ever seen Carly worship, you know she worships her own special way, and it's probably one of my favorite things to watch. When I used to lead worship at Encounter, Carly would come and dance and make noise and sing, and it was one of my favorite parts was knowing Carly's there, and I could even hear her through my inner monitors, and just knowing she was worshiping with us was such a blessing to me. But the flip side of that is then I'm stressed out, wondering how other people are perceiving it, even though I'm loving it. I love watching Carly worship.
Well, the key for us was really having a Saturday night option. Finding people who can help us with Carly on Sunday morning is difficult, but on Saturday night, it's a little easier to find help. And so when we bring a caregiver with Carly so that we don't have primary responsibility for her and we can send her out if she needs to go out. But even having a caregiver, it's still challenging, especially for me, because I am worried about all the other things that could be happening. And so that's been a challenge. That continues to be a challenge. Having Carly in worship with us is just incredibly important to me. As a dad, I want to worship as a family unit. And when Carly's not there, it just doesn't feel the same for us. It doesn't feel like we're a complete unit. She really enjoys being there, and she really experiences it for the most part really fully, like in her body completely. And that is an example to me that so often I tend to be more reserved, and yet watching her when she really gets into it, it's just like, that's the freedom we should all have in our worship experiences, is really with our entire selves, our bodies, our minds, our spirits, we should be worshiping the Lord. And Carly's a great example of that for me.
Let's remove every obstacle we can that might prevent anyone from approaching the Lord in worship. And here's how we can walk that out together. Sit down with someone with disabilities and worship in church with them together one weekend. We assure caregivers and people with disabilities that you want them worshiping with you and that you value the contributions they make, even if sometimes there's distractions. Ask individuals and family members affected by disability how you can be praying for them. Let's put love into action by worshiping together.